Hi, welcome to the 90 Day Wins Podcast, episode 4. Come get your wins every 90 days. I am so excited to share with you the 90 Day Win Podcast, where we talk to regular people living their goals, achieving their goals a quarter at a time. This episode of the 90 Day Wins Podcast, I get an opportunity to talk with India Burton, goal-getter, business owner, wife, mother, entrepreneur. She shares how she is managing and dealing through these times of uncertainty. She shares her experience of wins, losses, experiences, growth, and how she is managing with her family during this time, what she encourages other small businesses to do in this time. You don't want to miss India Burton, Goal Getter. Hello, and welcome to the 90 Day Wins Podcast. This is Sandy B. I'm so excited to be interviewing Miss India Burton from High Texture Hair. Hello, India. How are you?
Hello, I am great. How are you?
I am well. I'm really excited to speak with you. I'm always excited to talk with goal getters. People hear me say I'm excited all the time. And I really am, because I believe that goal getters inspire people. And so I love to tell stories of inspiration and hope. And definitely this time more than any, it's important to be encouraging to others and to share good news. And we are all about wins over here at the 90 Day Win Podcast. So I just wanted to take some time to talk about you and your experience. If you could tell the listeners about your background and your experience in the business, in the salon business.
Sure. Well, I am the owner of High Texture Hair Salon. We are a natural / textured hair salon located in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Actually, we have 2 locations. We have Lawrenceville, and we recently opened up our second location, which is located in Alpharetta. And we are in our 7th year of operation. And up until this point, we have been trickling right along, just growing.
Yes.
And hopefully after this, I'm looking forward to returning back, returning to work and keeping that growth going. Right now we're in a period of uncertainty, but I'm sure, and I'm very confident actually, that we're going to all come out of this, in a different space, but definitely ahead.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, because that's exactly what we need to be saying and believing and knowing for ourselves. And with 7 years in business, I'm sure you have experienced a lot of ups and downs.
Yes, exactly. The thing about business is that that's exactly what it is. It's a lot of ups and downs. So I think the most important thing for people to understand that when they go into business, it's not going to be a steady ride or a smooth ride. There are going to be ups, downs, twists, turns, and you just got to strap yourself on and just get ready for that roller coaster ride, because that's what business feels like. If you can think of your scariest roller coaster, that's it. That is what business is. I mean, it is. And,
Yeah.
and it's a learning process, because, it's unique for everyone. Because if you think about a roller coaster, you can anticipate when you're going to have a deep dive, a fall. But with business, it's a little different, because it's not going to be at the same point and at the same pace for everyone. Everyone's experience is going to be different. Some people start off and they shoot right up. Some people start off really, really slow, and it takes them a while to reach their peak. But one thing I've learned, and I'm still learning, it's a learning process, that when you get to that peak, just know that somewhere you got to come down. But that's okay.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
okay part. And that's what we have to get used to, those valleys, because those valleys, which what we're in right now, is that opportunity area. It's that opportunity to reassess what's working from what's not working, and and make those necessary changes for you to venture on into that next peak for that roller coaster.
Yes. Yes, exactly, because it keeps moving, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that just how life is, right? You have a vision of what you want to accomplish, but then you have plans, right? And then you have to tweak them as needed. Life happens, things happen. Certainly, pandemics don't happen often, so this is definitely a new experience for us. But just life as a whole, there are seasons of great growth, and then there could be some terrible lows of things that occur. So can you talk about some wins? I follow you on social media and I see that you were on the cover of Salon magazine, is it? This past
Salon
fall?
today. Yes.
Salon Today, yes. So can you talk about that?
Oh my goodness, yes. Now that I would say is a definite win. It was an amazing opportunity for me to grace that cover along with
Yes.
some of the country's, not just local, but the country's top salons. And it's crazy. I say that because the opportunity to be in that magazine and be on the cover of the magazine was just speaking it into existence.
Yeah.
Because if I can rewind a couple of years ago, I was in the bed one night, like I do normally. I'm always up till wee hours of morning searching the internet, and I ran across the Salon Today's website, and it was featuring the top 200 salons. And so I started reading the profiles of the different salons, and I mean, I had to get up, get my notebook, and start writing down these tips because they had
Hmm.
amazing tips from these owners who, on areas of growth and retention and customer service. And so
Yes.
all of the good points I was writing down. And at the same time, I was waking my husband up. Now, mind you, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm waking my husband up like, honey, look at this. This salon does $10 million in revenue and $1 million in revenue. And, I was so excited. And this is what they do. And of course, he's half asleep looking at me like, woman, if you shake me one more time. But I was so excited. And I remember getting up the next morning and we're getting ready for work. And I'm like, blah, 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 just telling him all about everything that I had read the night before that I wanted to implement into
Yes.
our salon space. And so I just remember being so excited. And I remember saying to him, one of these years, I'm going to be in this top 200. And so, of course, we were like, okay, yeah, I know I can do it. He knew I could do it. But little do we know it would be the following year. So that was last year. And that was my first year that I was nominated. Actually, it's not a nomination process. I applied for the position and I won for growth, and it was amazing. And so then I got the magazine. I was so excited last year. And you know how kids are. Kids will say anything. And so I'm so excited. And I'm showing my kids, I forgot which one, the magazine. And they said, oh, you're not on the cover?
Wow. Wow.
Way to go to crush mommy's dreams, right? So I'm like, don't worry about that because soon I will be on the cover one day. And
Amen.
fast forward this year, the announcements came out, and I was really, really nervous because at first I didn't see that I won. So I last year I missed the announcement. So this year I emailed the editor and I said, I don't need to know if I won. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it because last year I missed the announcements. And so she called me back and she left me a message and she said, yeah, I wanted to speak with you about the outfit that you had on in the pictures that you submitted. And I said, well, that is such an odd, I was really,
Yes.
really nervous. I said, well, that's such an odd request. What
Yes.
for? So I was really nervous about calling her back. I said, well, is she going to tell me I wasn't qualified because I called? I didn't know what she wanted. But anyway, to make a long story short, that's when she advised me that I was going to be on the cover. And I honestly, like I said, it was just an amazing opportunity, one that I would have never expected. So it was awesome. And then I don't know if you're very familiar with the salon world, but I was just listening to a podcast last year with Van Michaels, one of the owners from Van Michaels. I think it was
Yeah.
Van. And I don't know if you're familiar with their salons, but they have maybe around 8 to 10 salons all in the Atlanta area, if I'm not mistaken. And I was just listening to his podcast about a year earlier in awe of just his start to where he is now. They started back in the 80s and now they have 10 locations. And it was very inspiring to me. So when I looked at that cover of that magazine to see that I'm gracing the cover with them,
Yes.
speaking it into existence. That's all I can say. If you
But
claim it, it's
also,
there.
yes, but also, I mean, let's talk about this. It's work too. You didn't just say, I want this. You also put in the work for it, that daily grind of continually providing that customer service and that support. That makes a difference too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Look, let's not forget about that. Yeah,
Yes.
that is probably the most important thing is the consistency um, of that daily grind. And I think that a lot of times we get lost in seeing the finished product
Yes.
or the refined product that we forget about all of the hard work and those perceived losses that you feel like you're taking on a day-to-day basis or struggles that you're having on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis, but in actuality they're not losses, they're not really struggles, they're like building blocks
Yes.
to
We
get to
like to
that
call
point.
them, yes, we like to call them lessons.
Right, right. You know, and you continue to work on that and overcome those, daily struggles, and you build upon it, and you look back, and whether it may be 2 years or 1 year, 7 years, 20 years before you reach your goals, at least you're working towards those every day. So that's the most important thing for people to realize is that success is not an overnight, it's not an overnight event. It's building those blocks one at a time, one at a time.
Totally. So let's talk about who helps encourage you. In our 6-step process for the 90-day wins, step 5 is trusted advisor meetings. And I encourage everyone that decides to be on the 90-day win process to align themselves with trusted advisors. If they don't have any, think about the people that truly care about them, that encourage them. So could you share about those people that help you? I know you talked about your husband. And so can you share about those people that help inspire you when you're having a rough day or when you're not sure about how to move forward?
Yeah, that actually, yeah. And that brings me back to speaking about my husband because um, both myself and my husband, we're both entrepreneurs. So my husband has a business, and then we have the salons, and so he's been in business way before we decided to open the salon. So I've watched his growth, I
Yeah.
watched his struggles, and from the back side, from the back end, I've been his trusted advisor as if I
Yes.
knew what I was doing all along, but I didn't really know business until I opened the salons. And that's when I really understood, oh, it's easier said than done. It's much easier said than done. So all those
Yes.
years I've been in the back seat, or on the driver's side, I would say. I wouldn't say the back seat, but I have been on the driver's side advising him, on and being his trusted person to come back to consult with. And so the tables have turned because now I rely on him to be that advisor for me. And so what we do, we have office hours. And so that has helped us a lot with keeping balance in our relationship. But we do have regular office hours where we sit down and we talk about business, not only the salon business, but we talk about his business as well. And so he's been a great advisor for me. I also have, friends and mentors as well that I reach out to, including yourself. We've had conversations a few times
Oh, yes.
about business, so
Yes.
it's important to have people who are like-minded around you, because a lot of times, and unfortunately, but it's hard to go and speak with someone who doesn't understand what you're going through, because they really can't advise you in the way that you need advising, if that makes sense. It's really helpful to have people who are walking your same path, and it doesn't have to be in the same industry. It can be
Yeah.
different industries. I have friends who are in real estate. I have
Mm-hmm.
friends that I consult with who are in, photography, all different types of fields, insurance. So it doesn't have to be the same industry, but it's great to have people surrounding you who are business owners, small business owners, because you can feed information and bounce ideas off of each other. And many times they're coming, from a place of experience, and
Yeah.
they can give you that more well-rounded advice.
Totally. It's extremely important now more than ever, I think. And I know because, like you said, I have had the pleasure of being friends with you for some time here in Atlanta, and you are definitely one of my trusted advisors. You and I have talked about this a couple of days ago. If you would just share a couple of the tips that you are giving to some of your friends who have small businesses, or even some friends who are just concerned about this time, what are the tips that you are encouraging them, as well as you are using for yourself in this time while we are home, trying to figure out what those next steps are? If you could just share some of the tips that you are encouraging others to keep in mind as they move forward during this time.
Well, I actually have two sets of tips that I have a set that I'm giving to myself, and I have a set that I give to other people. I guess I will start off with myself. One of the the only I can say, for me, the only beauty of this is that we have been granted a reset period.
Mm-hmm.
And so this reset period, I've decided to use it to regroup and focus on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to going into COVID-19 pandemic, I had so much going on, including the opening of the second location. So here I am holding down two locations, as if that
Yes.
wasn't crazy enough. Then and then the, Salon 200, and we also won another award for Best of Gwinnett. So I had so
Yeah.
much, thank you. I had so much going on, and I remember saying to myself over and over and over, oh, I need a break. I just need a vacation. I want a vacation, but a vacation is nowhere in sight.
Yeah.
And so those were some of the things that I was asking for. I wanted a break. I needed a reset period. I needed some time to go into my creative shell to, work on my first quarter.
Yeah.
And so voila, here we are. And in the oddest way,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but fortunately, I have this opportunity. So at first, like many of us, I was concerned, overwhelmed, felt helpless and defeated. I'm sure all of us feel that way or have felt that
Yes.
way at some point over these past few weeks. But for some reason, I think it was yesterday, I was in the kitchen, and ever since I've been home, I've been, mommy extraordinaire, of course. And so I was making my son breakfast, and he said, wow, mommy's a chef.
Aw.
And so at that moment, I had this really calming effect that came over me. And I realized that, okay, this is how I want to spend my time. I really want to use this time to reset.
Nice.
When I get back to work, I know that I'm jumping in with both feet. But
Yeah.
right now, I have been granted this blessing. In the oddest way, blessings come in many shapes, forms, or fashions. So I'm just taking this opportunity for myself to honor what I've prayed for, and that was a break. And so I do have the opportunity to reset myself, take care of my physical health, my mental health, and my creative health, so that when I restart, I'm restarting full, I'm restarted whole, and I'm excited about that for myself. Now, as a business owner and giving advice to other businesses, if their issue is not needing a break, because not everyone is at that point, and some people were ready to go.
Exactly.
Some people, this
Totally.
isn't right. For some people, the blessing for some people is that this is a time for them to use this opportunity to, one, engage their client base, plan out goals,
Yes.
set a, if you have a business where you're going to have a grand reopening, this is the opportunity to plan your grand reopening strategy. This is also a time for you to change policies. If something wasn't working that you didn't want, that you didn't like before, change it. This is the perfect opportunity to change what wasn't working and add some things new to your services, your menus. It's a great time, like I said, to reach down, reach inside that, and drum up that creative side of you, and be able to get those messages out to your clients. So those are the two separate things that I'm kind of doing both, but I'm really focused on myself, because right now I just wanted that break for me, and that peace. I'm meditating every morning. I'm exercising. I'm eating right. And so
Beautiful.
that was the most important thing for me. So I guess wherever you are, as a entrepreneur, as a woman, as a business owner, wherever you are and wherever your needs are, I think that this is that opportunity for you to seize it. Because oddly enough, that saying that God may not be there where you want him to be there, but he's always on time.
Always on time.
He is always on time, because this is an example of that. Because for so many months, I've spoken with different people, and not every person, but I promise you, if it wasn't every person, it was every third person that I spoke to. They were overwhelmed. They were going through something. They were tired.
Yeah.
And here we are with this reset period. And so I think that it's just a perfect opportunity for us to seize the moment and make the best out of this situation, and not get too overwhelmed with the unknown, because that can really cause you to stay stagnant. And this is not the time to stay stagnant. This is the time for you to regroup. This is the time for you to plan. And this is the time for you to get ready to execute.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your advice and for your sharing just a lot of what we need to hear right now, the hope and the joy and just the mindset that we all should have about taking the time to rest, using this time to regroup, using this time to assess what's important and then move forward. Like you said, it's not the time to be stagnant. It's not the time to be worried or concerned. It's the time to rest, make sure you're healthy, take care of yourself, and then move forward. So once again, India, thank you for talking with us on the 90 Day Wins podcast. And I am telling all my guests, because I think the goal getters have so much to share. So once we get back rolling and there's so many other things going on, I will definitely have you back on the show, because I know you will have some awesome things to share about the other side of this and how we're doing and how you're encouraging people to move forward. So thank you again for being on our show.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome. So thank you for having me. And I definitely would love to come back. Just let me know when.
Will do. Come get your wins with the 90 Day Wins podcast, where we talk to goal getters. You can check us out at 90daywins.com. That's 90daywins with an S.com. That's our website where you can check out our blog, where we give more in-depth notes and conversation about the interviews with our goal getters. Also, you can check us out on social media, 90daywins.com. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. This is your host, Sandy B, and I'm encouraging you to go get your wins every 90 days on the 90 Day Win podcast.